Over 60? 4 dangerous salts you should never touch, and 4 you must eat daily. The salt sitting in your kitchen right now may be shrinking your brain, stiffening your arteries, and slowly poisoning your memory, and no one ever warned you. After 60, even a pinch too much of the wrong kind of salt can silently trigger thyroid collapse, joint pain, or early dementia. But here's the twist. Not all salts are dangerous. Some can actually heal. In this video, I'll reveal the 4 most harmful salts older adults should avoid immediately, and the 4 that could save your health. And all backed by science. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share what kind of salt you use at home. We read every comment and reply with care. Now let's start with part 1, 4 dangerous salts you should never touch after 60, and why they might be doing more harm than you think. Number 1. Iodized table salt. Iodized table salt is the kind most people keep in their kitchens. It's the salt you've likely used your whole life, thinking it was good for your thyroid. But after 60, your body becomes more sensitive, and this salt may be doing more harm than good. As we age, our organs become less efficient, and the systems that once kept our minerals balanced begin to slow down. Iodized salt contains synthetic iodine, usually in the form of potassium iodide, which is added to help prevent iodine deficiency. But this form of iodine is unstable. It breaks down easily under heat, moisture, or light. So when you cook with it, whether boiling, baking, or frying, much of the iodine may degrade before your body has a chance to absorb it. Even if some iodine does reach your bloodstream, your thyroid must still convert it into a usable form. This process relies on enzymes in your gut and liver, and on the proper function of your kidneys. For many older adults, these processes slow down or become less predictable, making it easier for iodine to either accumulate or be lost too quickly. Too little can weaken your thyroid, but too much can overstimulate it, causing irregular heartbeat, nervousness, or swelling in the neck. Another problem lies in the anti-caking agents added to keep the salt dry and free-flowing. Most iodized salt contains compounds like sodium aluminosilicate or sodium ferrocyanide. These sound technical, but here's what matters. They contain aluminum and other elements that don't belong in the body long-term. In younger adults, the kidneys can often flush them out. But as the kidneys age, that clearance slows. Tiny amounts of aluminum can pass through the gut into the blood, and over time, reach the brain, especially as the blood-brain barrier weakens with age. Once there, aluminum may interfere with how nerve cells communicate, increase oxidative stress, and gradually affect memory and focus. You won't feel it after one meal, but after 10 or 20 years of daily use, the effects can add up. In 2022, Dr. Richard Shader published a paper in Nutrition Today, warning that synthetic iodine in refined salts can degrade quickly and may not be as effective or as safe as people assume. He also raised concerns about the long-term effects of anti-caking agents that were approved decades ago, long before we understood how they interact with the aging brain. A year earlier, in 2021, researchers Ashabi, Haidarieh, and colleagues conducted a study in Iran analyzing 75 brands of iodized salt. They found that 32% had iodine levels outside the safe range, and 7.5% of participants had urinary iodine levels that were dangerously high, levels that could damage the thyroid if sustained. That same year, a study published in BMC Cancer examined aluminum exposure in food additives and warned that chronic intake could increase the risk of cognitive decline and neurodegenerative disease, especially in older adults with reduced kidney and liver function. So how should you use salt safely if you're over 60? The goal is not to remove iodine entirely, your thyroid still needs it, but to choose a better, safer source. One of the best alternatives is iodized Himalayan salt. This salt contains natural trace minerals like magnesium, potassium, and calcium that help your body absorb iodine more steadily. And I'll talk about it in more detail below. Number 2. Flavored table salt. Flavored table salt, like garlic salt, chili salt, smoked salt, or even pink Himalayan blends, feels like a harmless upgrade. But inside the body, it works just like regular salt. Here's how it works. When you eat salt, your body absorbs sodium, a mineral that controls how much water your body holds onto. The more sodium you consume, the more water your blood retains. This increases blood volume, which raises blood pressure. Higher pressure pushes against your artery walls, causing them to stiffen over time. It also forces your heart to work harder to pump blood, slowly enlarging the heart muscle and wearing it down. But there's another problem. Sodium doesn't act alone. It competes with potassium, a mineral found in fruits and vegetables that helps relax blood vessels and flush excess sodium through the kidneys. If you eat too much salt and not enough potassium, sodium stays in your body longer, causing damage to the inner lining of arteries. In older adults, where kidney function is naturally slower and arteries are more fragile, this imbalance becomes even more dangerous. Over time, this raises the risk of heart failure, stroke, and vascular dementia, even if you don't have high blood pressure yet. Now here's the twist. Flavored salts often make the problem worse. They taste milder or more natural, so people tend to use more without realizing. But no matter how herbal or smoky it seems, chemically, it's still sodium chloride, and often in higher concentration, because it's sprinkled directly onto food, not measured during cooking. In 2022, a major study by Hao Ma and colleagues published in the European Heart Journal followed over 1,000 people. They found that regularly adding salt to meals, especially after cooking, was linked to a 28% higher risk of early death. On average, men lost 2.3 years of life. Women lost 1.5 years. The study also found that this risk was worse in people who ate fewer fruits and vegetables, likely due to low potassium levels. Another study in BMC medicine in the same year, led by Lu Qi and Joanne Manson, confirmed that even after accounting for other lifestyle factors, adding salt, flavored or not, remained a strong predictor of cardiovascular disease and stroke. A third study, published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology, reinforced that people who salted their food at the table were more likely to suffer heart attacks and vascular problems, especially those over 60 with low vegetable intake. So what can you do? First, reduce your reliance on salty flavor altogether. Your taste buds can adapt. It just takes 2 to 3 weeks. Replace flavored salts with salt-free seasonings like garlic, onion, lemon juice, vinegar, or fresh herbs. If you enjoy a specific flavor, create your own low-sodium version using dried herbs without added salt. And most importantly, stop adding salt after the food is cooked. Season during cooking instead, where smaller amounts go further. This gives you better flavor with less sodium. If you must use flavored salt, use only a pinch, no more than 1/4 teaspoon per meal. Never sprinkle it on processed foods, which are already high in hidden salt, and always balance your plate with potassium-rich foods like leafy greens, avocados, and bananas to protect your blood vessels. Remember, even a gourmet-looking salt, when used carelessly, can quietly increase the pressure on your heart. Number 3. Pickling salt. Pickling salt may sound harmless, after all. It's just salt used to preserve vegetables. But the chemistry happening inside your pickle jar tells a different story, especially for older adults concerned with long-term toxin exposure. Here's what happens inside your body and inside the pickling process. Pickling salt is pure sodium chloride without additives like iodine or anti-caking agents. When used in high concentrations, as in traditional pickle recipes, it creates a high salinity environment to prevent spoilage. But this salt also interacts with naturally occurring compounds in vegetables and with fermenting bacteria. During this fermentation, especially in high-salt recipes like Chinese zuokai or Sichuan paokai, a class of harmful substances known as polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, and their halogenated derivatives, XPAHs, can form. Some of these, like chlorinated PAHs, have structures similar to dioxins, chemicals notorious for their long-term toxicity. Why does this matter? PAHs and ClPAHs are not just environmental pollutants, they're also bioaccumulative, meaning they build up in your body over time. They've been shown to disrupt metabolism, damage DNA, and impair liver function. In the elderly, where detoxification systems like the liver and kidneys are already slower, these compounds may linger longer and pose greater health risks. The fermentation process adds another layer of complexity. Certain lactic acid bacteria, while beneficial for gut health, can also contribute to chemical reactions that transform existing PAHs into more toxic forms like ClPAHs. These halogenated compounds can cross cell membranes more easily, accumulate in fatty tissues, and act through AHR, ARYL hydrocarbon receptor pathways to alter gene expression, a mechanism linked to cancer, hormonal disruption, and inflammation. Now let's look at the science. A groundbreaking study published in 2024 by Wei Li and Ximin Wu in the Journal of Food Composition and Analysis analyzed 42 types of PAHs and halogenated PAHs in commercial pickled vegetables using advanced gas chromatography mass spectrometry. Their findings showed that while overall PAH levels decreased during fermentation, certain toxic ClPAHs increased, especially in high-salt pickles like zuokai. The presence of newly formed compounds, such as 1-chlorinated purine, was identified only after fermentation, proving that microbial activity and salinity interact to create these harmful byproducts. Moreover, the same study highlighted that lower salinity levels led to more efficient breakdown of PAHs and less formation of ClPAHs. This means the higher the salt content during pickling, the more likely toxic compounds will form and persist. Although the overall toxicity measured by TEQ, toxic equivalent quotient, was slightly reduced after fermentation, the formation of these intermediate halogenated toxins poses a clear concern, particularly for older adults with chronic inflammation or weakened detox systems. A second study, published in Frontiers in Nutrition in 2024, confirmed these risks. It emphasized that long-term intake of fermented, high-sodium foods could contribute to increased exposure to ClPAHs, and advised that food safety in traditional pickling practices should be closely monitored. The study also noted that leafy vegetables absorb more atmospheric pollutants, like polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, than root vegetables, which is why leafy pickles may carry more of these hidden threats. So what should you do if you love pickles? You don't have to give them up, but you do need to be smart about how they're made and how much you eat. Choose pickles made with low salt fermentation. Look for labels that list low sodium. Or better yet, make your own at home with a brine concentration under 3%. Avoid pickles that taste extremely salty or sour. That's often a sign of over-fermentation or high salt content. Also, limit your intake to a small serving, no more than 2 tablespoons per day, especially if you already have high blood pressure, kidney issues, or are taking medications that affect fluid balance. Pair your pickles with fiber-rich meals that support gut health and detoxification. And most importantly, rotate the types of pickled vegetables you eat. Don't stick to just leafy ones like mustard greens, which may accumulate more toxins. Pickling is an ancient, beautiful tradition. But in the modern world, with environmental pollutants and processed salts in the mix, it requires more awareness. Number 4. Kosher salt. Kosher salt may look pure and clean, large, flaky crystals without additives, but for older adults, especially those watching their heart, brain, and kidney health, it carries quiet risks that are often overlooked. Let's understand the science behind it. Kosher salt is essentially pure sodium chloride, just like table salt, but without iodine or anti-caking agents. Its coarse texture makes it easier to control while seasoning, which is why many home cooks and chefs prefer it. But when it comes to health, the texture doesn't change the chemistry. Sodium chloride still behaves the same inside your body. It raises blood pressure by increasing fluid retention, and over time, this damages arteries, strains your heart, and disrupts kidney filtration. The problem with kosher salt lies in a false sense of safety. Because it's natural, many people think they can use it more freely. In fact, kosher salt's large flakes take up more volume but contain less sodium by weight per teaspoon than fine salt, so people often add extra, thinking it's healthier. This leads to unintentional overuse, especially in older adults who may already be managing hypertension or kidney issues. The second concern is iodine deficiency. Kosher salt is not iodized, and while iodine deficiency is less common in the U.S. today, older adults are still at risk, especially those who avoid dairy, seafood, or processed foods. Iodine is essential for thyroid function, which regulates metabolism, body temperature, and energy levels. When iodine is too low, the thyroid gland enlarges into a goiter, and hormone production drops, leading to fatigue, weight gain, constipation, and even cognitive decline. Seniors with low thyroid function are also more prone to depression and poor memory, symptoms often mistaken for normal aging. Now let's look at what research says. Dr. Richard I. Shader's 2022 letter in Nutrition today reminds us that the widespread popularity of kosher and sea salts may have led to an unintended drop in iodine intake across the population. Many consumers assume that natural salts are automatically healthier, but this is a dangerous misconception. Shader emphasized that unless people intentionally get iodine from other sources, replacing iodized table salt with kosher salt could quietly raise the risk of iodine deficiency, particularly in vulnerable groups like older adults, pregnant women, and those with limited diets. A more recent study published in Food and Chemical Toxicology in 2023 further highlighted the hidden sodium burden from unmeasured salt usage, particularly in coarse salts used by hand. The researchers stressed that when salt isn't pre-measured, as it often is with kosher salt, people tend to underestimate how much they're consuming. This behavioral blind spot can add up, especially in those with age-related salt sensitivity or chronic conditions like congestive heart failure. So what should you do? If you enjoy cooking with kosher salt, it's okay to continue, but with smart precautions. Always measure your salt with a spoon, not your fingers. Know that 1 teaspoon of kosher salt contains less sodium than table salt by volume, but not by weight. If you switch between the two, adjust your quantities carefully. And if kosher salt is your primary or only salt at home, make sure to get iodine elsewhere. Dairy products like milk or yogurt, seafood like cod or shrimp, or even a daily multivitamin containing iodine. Also, watch your total daily sodium. For older adults, health authorities recommend keeping sodium below 1,500 milligrams per day. That's about 2/3 of a teaspoon of table salt, or more than a full teaspoon of kosher salt. Remember, sodium is also hidden in bread, cheese, sauces, canned goods, and takeout meals. Kosher salt might feel rustic and refined, but it's still sodium chloride, and in excess, it can quietly fuel hypertension, fluid retention, and fatigue. We've just uncovered 4 salts that may quietly harm your heart, memory, and metabolism, especially as you age. But not all salts are the enemy. Let's now explore 4 that can actually protect your health after 60 when used the right way. Number 1. Iodized Himalayan Salt. Iodized Himalayan salt may be the most powerful daily defense for your thyroid and memory after 60, if and only if it's truly iodized. This is not the same as plain Himalayan pink salt, which contains virtually no iodine and cannot support your thyroid on its own. The thyroid relies on iodine to make two essential hormones, T3 and T4, which regulate metabolism, brain function, heart rhythm, and temperature control. After 60, the body naturally slows hormone production, and even a mild iodine deficiency can trigger fatigue, brain fog, dry skin, or cold intolerance, often mistaken for aging. Yet the real culprit may be an underfed thyroid. That's where iodized Himalayan salt comes in. It's not naturally high in iodine. Instead, high-quality iodized Himalayan salt is pink rock salt that's been fortified with potassium iodate, or potassium iodide, stable forms of iodine that the thyroid can absorb and use. At the same time, it retains trace minerals like magnesium, potassium, and calcium, which help balance electrolytes and support smoother absorption of iodine. A 2024 expert consensus from the Indian Thyroid Society, led by Dr. Das C.S. Pandav, confirmed that iodized Himalayan salt is the safest and most effective tool to prevent iodine deficiency in older adults. It helps stabilize TSH levels, supports energy metabolism, and protects against memory decline. In Nepal, a national program studied by Paudyal et al. In maternal and child nutrition in 2020 showed that iodized Himalayan salt alone reduced national iodine deficiency rates from 63% to under 3%, especially in populations with little seafood intake. To get the full benefit of iodized Himalayan salt, the key is consistency and the right amount. Most adults over 60 need around 150 micrograms of iodine daily. That's roughly what you get from just under 1 teaspoon, about 5 grams, of properly iodized salt. You don't need to take it as a supplement or mix it in water. Just use it in your normal cooking. Add a small pinch when boiling vegetables, seasoning soups. If you eat simply, like steamed fish, plain rice, or oatmeal, you can sprinkle a light layer over the food before eating. That small touch is enough to support your thyroid throughout the day. If your doctor has asked you to limit salt because of high blood pressure, you can still benefit. Just make sure whatever little salt you do use is iodized. For example, even half a teaspoon used throughout the day in salad dressings, on hard-boiled eggs, or in a simple broth can go a long way. Every grain counts when it comes to iodine. One important note: always check the label. Not all pink salts are iodized. The package must clearly say iodized, or list potassium iodate, or potassium iodide in the ingredients. If it doesn't, you're getting color and minerals, but not the iodine your thyroid depends on. Avoid storing iodized salt in open containers or near heat and moisture, as iodine can evaporate over time. Keep it sealed in a dry, dark place, like a cupboard, not right next to your stove. Used properly, iodized Himalayan salt isn't just a seasoning. It's a simple, effective daily habit to protect your energy, memory, and metabolism. Number 2. Epsom salt. Epsom salt, scientifically known as magnesium sulfate, is one of the most reliable home remedies for joint pain and stiffness after 60. When applied to the skin, magnesium is absorbed through the outer layer and acts locally. It calms inflamed tissues, improves blood flow, and relaxes the surrounding muscles and ligaments. It also interferes with glutamate, a pain-related neurotransmitter, reducing how strongly pain signals reach the brain. Sulfate, on the other hand, plays a role in collagen repair and helps flush inflammatory waste from the joints. This local mechanism is especially helpful in elderly joints, which often suffer from poor circulation and chronic stiffness. And the best part, there's no need for pills or invasive treatments. In 2022, researchers Prakash D. and N. Siva Subramanian at Sankalchand Patel University tested a simple remedy on 60 elderly patients with knee osteoarthritis. A mix of 2 tablespoons of Epsom salt with 2 tablespoons of glycerin, applied directly over the joint twice daily for 10 days. Pain scores dropped dramatically, from 7.0 to 3.0 on average. None of the patients experienced any skin irritation, and all reported greater ease while walking and standing up. The study concluded this formula is both clinically and statistically effective, especially for older adults. A second study by Dr. Ranjini Rajasekaran in 2021 used warm Epsom salt compresses on a similar group. After 10 days, knee flexibility improved from 133.8 to 172.9 degrees, and pain dropped from 8.18 to 5.04. Patients also reported better sleep, easier stair climbing, and greater morning mobility, showing benefits that go beyond just pain relief. To use Epsom salt at home, start with a warm compress. Dissolve 2 tablespoons in a bowl of warm, not hot, water. Soak a soft cloth, wring it out gently, and place over the painful joint for 15 to 20 minutes. This can be repeated once or twice daily. The heat boosts absorption and relieves stiffness within minutes. For deeper or whole-body soreness, prepare a bath soak by adding 2 cups of Epsom salt to a warm tub. Soak for 20 minutes. A foot soak with half a cup in a small basin is also effective if you have trouble walking due to ankle or heel pain. To replicate the glycerin method used in the 2022 study, mix equal parts Epsom salt and glycerin, 2 tablespoons each, until you form a smooth, thick layer. Apply it directly onto the painful joint, then wrap loosely with a clean cotton cloth or gauze to keep the area warm and moist. Let it sit for 20 minutes. Do this twice a day for 10 days and track your relief. Avoid using this on open wounds or broken skin. If you have kidney disease or are on magnesium-restricted diets, talk to your doctor first. Magnesium does absorb through the skin over time. Used correctly, Epsom salt can bring relief where creams and pills fail, easing the joints, calming the nerves, and giving you back the comfort to move again, one step at a time. Number 3. Black salt. Black salt, or Kala Namak, may be one of the most overlooked salts that supports digestion, heart rhythm, and bone strength after 60, especially for those struggling with bloating, gas, or muscle cramps. Its power lies in its natural mineral profile. Unlike refined salt, black salt is rich in sulfur compounds like sodium bisulfate, as well as iron, potassium, and trace magnesium. When consumed in small amounts, sulfur stimulates bile flow and digestive enzymes, helping food move more easily through the stomach and intestines. This makes it especially helpful for seniors dealing with constipation, bloating, or excessive gas. In fact, one traditional use of black salt is to relieve flatulence by gently relaxing the intestinal muscles and making it easier to release trapped air without pain or embarrassment. Another key property is its slightly alkaline nature. With a natural pH around 8 to 8.5, black salt helps neutralize excess stomach acid, making it useful for older adults who often experience sour stomach, acid reflux, or heartburn after meals. This mild alkalinity soothes the stomach without the side effects of over-the-counter antacids. Potassium in black salt also works to balance sodium levels, regulate heart rhythm, and reduce nighttime leg cramps, especially in seniors who are slightly dehydrated or have electrolyte imbalances. The iron in black salt, present in a bioavailable form, can support iron levels in older women and men with mild anemia, particularly those who no longer eat much red meat. Unlike table salt, black salt does not cause water retention due to its low sodium content, making it safer for older adults with mild swelling or heart concerns. In 2023, researchers in Hyderabad published a detailed review of black salt's mineral composition and its benefits for gastrointestinal health, blood pressure regulation, and detoxification. An earlier analysis by Dr. Saha and colleagues in 2018 also confirmed its antimicrobial properties and potential to lower LDL cholesterol by supporting liver function. The combination of potassium, sulfur, and iron in a naturally low-sodium matrix makes black salt an ideal occasional addition to the diets of seniors managing digestion, metabolism, or mild cardiovascular risk. To use black salt safely and effectively, treat it as a finishing salt, not something to cook large meals with. Start with just a pinch, about 1 gram, sprinkled over cooked vegetables, hard-boiled eggs, or mixed into plain yogurt. In India, many seniors mix it into buttermilk or warm lemon water after meals to ease bloating and aid digestion. For morning balance, stir 1 small pinch of black salt into a glass of room-temperature water with a squeeze of lemon. Drink it slowly after waking to hydrate, support liver detox, and gently stimulate your digestive system. For leg cramps at night, try adding a pinch to a banana or a cup of warm milk before bed. This boosts potassium and sulfate intake without increasing blood pressure. But one important warning: black salt contains little to no iodine. If you rely on it daily, without also using iodized salt, your thyroid may begin to slow. This is especially risky for seniors who already eat little seafood. To stay safe, always pair black salt with a small daily amount of iodized salt in your cooking, so you get both flavor and protection. With the right balance, black salt can ease digestion, relax muscles, and support a healthier heart, 1 small pinch at a time. Number 4, smoked sea salt. Smoked sea salt may be the smartest way to reduce sodium without giving up flavor, especially for older adults who need to protect their heart, kidneys, and blood vessels. The secret lies not in what it adds, but in what it replaces. Smoked salt starts with pure sea salt, then undergoes a slow smoking process, using natural wood like oak, cherry, or hickory. This gives it a deep, savory flavor that stimulates the same taste buds as regular salt, while allowing you to use far less of it. But it's more than just taste. That smoky aroma can actually increase satiety and reduce the craving for other sodium-rich foods, making smoked salt a tool for long-term sodium control. What's important for seniors is that smoked salt is typically lower in sodium per teaspoon compared to refined table salt, sometimes by as much as 20 to 30%, depending on the grind and moisture content. Some smoked salts are also blended with potassium chloride, offering a heart-healthy electrolyte boost that supports blood pressure balance and helps counteract the muscle-weakening effects of too much sodium. A 2022 review published by the European Food Safety Authority analyzed the impact of using alternative salts, like smoked salt or potassium-enriched blends, in smoked seafood. The review found that potassium-based salts and flavor-intense alternatives can effectively reduce sodium intake without compromising taste or food safety. The sensory satisfaction from smoky flavors, combined with lower sodium load, offers a practical and sustainable benefit for elderly individuals trying to cut back on salt. However, the same report raised a mild caution. If smoked salt is made using uncontrolled or poor smoking methods, it may contain trace amounts of PAHs, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which in high doses can be harmful. Fortunately, these compounds are extremely low in food-grade smoked salts and pose no significant risk when used occasionally and in small amounts. Beyond cardiovascular benefits, smoked sea salt may also support skin health. According to a 2021 review in the International Journal of Dermatology, salts exposed to natural smoke or minerals have mild antimicrobial effects and can help stabilize the skin barrier. For seniors with thinning, sensitive skin, this means that using smoked salt in bath soaks or as part of inhalation therapy might offer small but helpful, soothing benefits. To use smoked salt safely and enjoyably, treat it as a finishing touch not a cooking base. Because its flavor is strong, a tiny amount goes a long way. Just half a pinch sprinkled over roasted vegetables, grilled fish, or a soft-boiled egg can completely transform the taste. It pairs especially well with earthy foods like mushrooms, sweet potatoes, lentils, or beans, making it easier to reduce processed sauces and broths that are high in sodium. For blood pressure management, the key is substitution. Use smoked salt in place of regular table salt, not in addition to it. If you're used to adding a full teaspoon of salt per meal, switch to a quarter or half teaspoon of smoked salt instead. The flavor will still satisfy you, but your sodium intake may drop by 30 to 50% without effort. That said, seniors with chronic kidney disease should use caution. Some smoked salts are enriched with potassium chloride, which can raise potassium levels dangerously in those with impaired kidney function. If you're taking potassium-sparing medications or have been advised to limit potassium, talk to your doctor before using these blends. Always check the label to ensure the smoked salt isn't artificially flavored or heavily refined. Look for naturally smoked sea salt with no added preservatives. Choose high-quality sources smoked over hardwoods and enjoy in moderation. Smoked sea salt is more than just gourmet flair. It's a daily strategy to protect your heart, your skin, and your taste buds with every sprinkle. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I truly appreciate your time and curiosity in taking steps to protect your health. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. It helps us grow and reach more people who need this kind of information. Take good care of yourself, stay informed, and remember, it's the small choices each day that shape your future well-being. Wishing you and your loved ones health, happiness, and a heart full of peace. See you in the next video.